Folks, we have some surprise nerfs on the way to Hearthstone with the upcoming release of the March of the Lich King expansion. The story on this one's pretty funny. Blizzard accidentally published some early card changes on the Hearthstone website's card library. People were like, wait a minute, this says Theotar is 6 mana. What's going on? Well, Blizzard showed up today to confirm that indeed they released those a little bit early, along with an Ice Revenant nerf. Yeah, Ice Revenant. I too forgot what that card is, but a couple changes will be on the way with the next expansion, and we just got a little bit of an early teaser here, so still you know, a month away or more, but wanted to cover these since the news is breaking. So let's talk a little bit about this Ice Revenant nerf first. This is an absolute shocker. Ice Revenant, a card you've probably never seen played in a real Hearthstone game. If you forgot, much like I did, he was a 4-mana 4/5. Whenever you cast a frost spell, gain +2/+2. But in the new expansion, he's going to be the same stat line, but he'll only gain +1/+1 per frost spell. And this is clearly because Death Knight is getting a bunch of new frost cards, and in particular stuff like this Horn of Winter, a 0-mana frost spell. So you could basically play an Ice Revenant, play a couple Horn of Winters. Your Ice Revenant is like an 8/9, and you've got like 4 more mana to go to still do something else with your turn, and that probably was super oppressive. So with the addition of this and perhaps other cheap frost spells too, because you could get them even bigger, right? You could play 2 or 3 more frost spells with that remaining 4 mana and have yourself like, yeah, who God only knows, a 12 attack Ice Revenant on turn 4 and just a monster swing turn. So it does make sense here to limit the scaling on the Ice Revenant. I'm glad Blizzard caught this one ahead of time, as opposed to all of us just feeling the wrath of the Ice Revenant when there are so many other cool new cards. It would kind of suck to lose to one that's at that point a year old. So reducing the scaling here on the Ice Revenant, I'm actually wondering if this still could be good with that package. I mean, you know, even if you cast 3 spells, you're talking about a 7/8 along with a bunch of other stuff in a given turn, because Horn of Winter allows you to get so much mana rolling all at once. Might still be something to keep an eye on even post nerf. Probably not though. Just big stat dumps aren't always effective like that. Would require the right sort of deck shape. But nonetheless, pretty crazy to see a nerf to Ice Revenant. I never thought the day would come when a card like this would get nerfed, because I don't know if you'd shown me these 2 pictures earlier, like a week ago. I don't know if I could have told you which one was real. I don't know if I would have known the difference, because I never ever see this card, but absolute shocker. Now, the more expected one, and the one everybody was already talking about when seeing the leaks on the website, was Theotar going from 5 mana 3/3 to 6 mana 4/4. So getting a little bit of a stat bump here along with that cost increase. Now remember, Theotar was originally 4 mana, has already been nerfed once. That nerf did impact Theotar's play rate a little. He went from like 45% of decks to about 38 to 40% of decks, depending on the day. So it was noticeable, but certainly not significant. Still, 40% of decks is insane for Theotar. Still a card that's getting played a lot for a neutral, legendary in particular, and one that's still pretty frustrating for people. I think people still hate losing to Theotar. A lot of players express tons of ire over this card and losing their win conditions, and it's sniping the exact perfect thing. So Blizzard going back to Theotar again, they said the play rate still looked a little too high for Theotar, and by pushing it to 6 mana might give more space for new cards and shiny new stuff with March of the Lich King and Death Knight to shine. It would be pretty sad if you got all these awesome new Death Knight win condition cards and they just always got stolen by Theotar. Early in the expansion, people are like, really? I don't get to play my fun new stuff. Now, that said, it's 6 mana. I still think Theotar is going to be a playable card. I don't think he'll reach, you know, 40% rates of play, but when we have these other expensive disruption cards like things like Mutanus, I still think 6 mana is a cost a lot of decks are going to be willing to pay. If they are a more control-oriented deck, if they want to play late into the game and they're susceptible to opponents' combo win conditions or just big threats, crazy win condition cards like Denathrius, of course, Theotar is the perfect answer to that, and 6 mana is not too much for those decks to ask to play. So I wouldn't be shocked if he's still showing up quite a bit at 6 mana, maybe more in that like 20 to 30% range. That would be healthier. It's like some decks will have to cut this at 6 mana. It will feel too expensive, but I suspect plenty of others will still be playing Theotar. He is just really, really good at what he does, and that's a necessary tool for some decks to have. So yeah, those are the only two balance changes. Quick note here, it says any other changes spotted are not happening and were a bug. There were, of course, some minion type updates as well. Like here's a graphic from Beatsters on Reddit that, you know, showcases at least a few of these. I don't think this is conclusive, but, you know, we've got some minions getting dual minion types or getting undead minion types across the set. Cindergross is an undead dragon. Kel'Thuzad's now an undead bear. Shark's an undead beast. I know this isn't everything because I saw that Moarg Enforcer is going to be a demon mech, for instance. So pretty cool to see these. I'm going to be curious if this opens up any new angles with minion type synergies, stuff suddenly going into like a Murloc deck or a pirate deck or a mech deck where it couldn't have before. It'll be fun to explore some of that space. Plus just lots of undead tools. Maybe wild players will have a lot of cool undead synergies to play with. So nice little previews of some upcoming changes. Absolutely a crazy surprise nerf. Wanted to get the news out there for all of you. What do you think? Is that going to be enough for Theotar? Is the Ice Revenant change a surprise to you like it was to me? Share those thoughts and more in the comments below. But until then, thanks so much for watching. And until next time, game on.